typically every single week, week after week, for the past, 46 weeks, when we open up this Facebook group, we interview 1 or 2 clients in our advanced inner circle program. Maybe they're in our advanced NEPQ 3.0 program, who are taking their skill sets that we are teaching them to an entirely new level that most salespeople don't even believe is possible for themselves in every industry you can imagine. The industry that Mason's in today, we've never interviewed anybody in this industry. I believe you're probably the first person we've ever trained in this industry that I know of. There might have been somebody gone through the virtual training course that I just don't know yet. Yeah. So what we're going to do today is we're really going to break down Mason's sales process and how he went from having just a regular job, being an engineer, medical device engineer, okay, not making a ton of money, just I think a salary probably, and how some circumstances happened, got really sick, had to use his voice, got into sales, was horrible, to put it mildly, didn't make hardly any money, got into his company. He was the lowest salesperson on the totem pole, got into NEPQ, and within a few months became the #1 salesperson in his company. How is that even possible? So we're going to break down his sales process. We're going to give you some questions that we've taught him how to ask to use to be able to get to that level. And then we're going to show you how that's possible for you as well. No matter what industry you're in, no matter what product or service you sell, we train hundreds of different industries at this point. So I am the founder and chairman of 7th Level, and we're a company who helps people like you. So we help sales professionals, we help coaches, we help sales executives, managers, entrepreneurs, business owners transform the way you and your team sell by learning specific skilled techniques and questions that work with human behavior rather than work against it. What do I even mean when I say that? We're going to talk about that today. Those are called neuro-emotional persuasion questions, NEPQ. That's what that means. Teach you the right tonality, put your prospects at ease, eliminate sales pressure completely with neutral languaging, and actually get your prospects to want to open up to you, to become so curious enough that they want to engage with you, and eventually it leads them to persuade themselves. Well, all right, Mason, nobody cares about me. I'm the boring guy. Everybody cares about this interview with you and how it's going to help them sell more. So let's talk about that. So Mason, let's go back into your story, because you went literally from 0 to making multiple 6 figures a year, like very, very quickly. But I know it didn't start out that way for you. And I think when we interview clients here every week, because a lot of times we interview like individual salespeople, we don't even interview business owners of the companies we train, but just individual salespeople, because I think it makes it more real to the salespeople in this group. A lot of people are like, wow, like there's no way I could make 200,000 a year or 300,000 or 400,000 or 500,000 plus in commissions. There's no way possible I can do that. And so they think that you were just born out of your mother's womb having all these amazing skills on sales, and somehow it's just easy. But from what I understand, nothing could be further from the truth for you.
No, not even close.
All right. So walk us back. What did you do before you got into sales?
So a couple of years back, I was actually a biomedical device engineer, just like working as like a designer for parts for surgeries. And I was just kind of a nerdy engineer pre-sales, honestly.
So you were a nerdy engineer. And what caused you to get out of engineering?
I had some kind of life circumstances come up to where I was having health issues at the time, and it wasn't something that I could move forward with. And long story short, I actually got fired out of the engineering world. And then from that point forward, had to figure out what I was going to do next.
You didn't really have a choice. You got fired from your job because of your health condition. You're like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? What caused you to go from being an engineer to be like, hey, I want to go into sales?
I was kind of at like a dark night of the soul, you might call it, at that point, where I was like, I got to get into personal development. I got to improve myself. Got to learn something, right? And one thing that I saw in common with every successful person who had results I wanted was the ability to communicate effectively and to sell. So I just started diving into all of the old school material.
So you started diving into old school traditional selling techniques. And then I believe, from what I understand, you got into like the network marketing industry. You're not in that now. You have a different sales job, but you got into network marketing, which is really sales, right? Because you have to go out and you have to recruit people. You have to be able to sell your products, your services, to have a real business. How did you do using those old school techniques?
I didn't. The first, like, I was in network marketing for an entire year. I think in total in commissions, I probably made just under $2,000 in a year.
$2,000 in a year. Okay, you could have worked at yeah. I mean, you could have worked at McDonald's and probably made 10 times more than that, right?
Easy, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you found out real quick. You got slapped in the face, punched in the mouth, basically, like, hey, these old school sales techniques, they're not really for me. They don't really work that well in today's more sophisticated consumer. They're more cautious, they're more skeptical than they ever have before. Only getting worse, folks. It's not like that's going to get better. It's only going the opposite way. So we have to learn new skills, okay? So how did you find NEPQ? Walk us through that process. Like, how did you find this type of training? Yeah. What happened there?
Originally, I was in my first sales job after network marketing, which was like a Facebook ads agency, and I saw.
So you got a job selling like Facebook ads to like businesses that needed to advertise more, right?
Exactly. Yeah, to dentists. So I was talking to doctors all day, and like it went pretty well, fairly well. It was okay, but
what do you mean by fairly well? You don't sound so sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my close rate was really there, but like refunds were through the freaking roof. So then I thought
you have a decent close rate, but 30 or 40% are refunding. You didn't really close them in the end.
So it seemed
really on them.
The first month I was really excited until I saw the truth. So that was like the second slap. How I actually found NEPQ closing code, Matt Ryder, like one of those ads hit. I saw his video and I said, oh, like this kind of makes sense.
Yeah, this is a little bit different than what I'm used to. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, this is the most clear, like kind of sales training. Like I was like, I resonate with this guy. Like this really makes sense.
You saw our CEO, you saw Matt talking some ad. You're like, okay, I'm jumping in. You get involved in NEPQ. I don't know if you started off in like our NEPQ 2.0 or 3.0 version, but
I did the closing code, which was just role plays every week. And I was like, it was like $35 a week or something. And I was like, the amount of value, it was kind of a no brainer at that point. So I got on the phone with Marco and I was like, Marco, just take my card, man. Like he still had the whole conversation with me and walked me through it, obviously. But I was like, Marco, like I'm moving forward with this. Like you get that right. So total laydown, which was pretty funny, but moved into NEPQ.
Well, you already could see that you could get results by just being in the free content. So you're like, hey, if I get into the actual training, because in the free content, we only release probably not even 1% of what the virtual training courses train salespeople to do. So you're like, oh man, if I give this from the free, imagine if I'm actually trained to know what to do, what could happen? So I think you got into like our NEPQ 3.0 version. You later got into like our more advanced stuff with Inner Circle. Let's walk through what happened once you started making those changes and we wrote out your sales structure and that type of thing. Who do you sell for now? You have a different job in the last year since you've started in NEPQ. But what do you do? What do you sell?
So right now, I work for a company called Thought Leader. Essentially, you know how people out there are always trying to build their brand, build their reputation, but they struggle with either like Facebook ads or organic marketing. Basically, what we do is help them get on a TEDx stage so they can actually build their credibility in the marketplace and really expand.
That's a good personalized introduction that we've given you. I like that. That's actually really good. How what you do helps other people, right? That was really good. So basically he sells a service that trains, coaches and entrepreneurs and people that have a message of anything. It could be a political message. It could be an environment message. It could be an entrepreneurial message. It could be a spiritual, biblical message, whatever it is. Teaches them how to get on stage, like TEDx stage, to really spread that message and really brand themselves. So it's a service that really solves a need in the market of people having a great message, but they just don't know how to get more people to hear that message, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about, because I believe after were you already in the job when you started with NEPQ, or you got NEPQ and then got the job?
I started NEPQ 3.0. I was like about a month or so in.
Okay.
And NEPQ 3.0 helped me actually land 2 jobs at once, this one and another job. And
How did it help you land the job? Walk us through what you mean by that.
Multiple ways, actually. One of the companies actually was somebody who had connected with Matt before. So since he knew that I was aware of this style of selling, he felt a lot of trust with me because he knew that I would get it.
Yeah.
And the other company, just being able to actually, the company I'm with now, they had given me objections. I actually made it into a final interview. And they're like, yeah, we just don't really think you want it. Like, apparently my communication, that was the feedback. So I had to like uncover the root of really what was behind that emotionally and get through that first objection to get the role.
So you helped them overcome that objection. And because you did that, you got a really nice gig, a nice job, gives you lots of leads, time on your calendar, that type of thing. So let's start breaking down your sales process, because I know you literally went from like bottom man on the totem pole in this company to number 1 salesperson in like 60 days. Now, how is that even possible?
The right structure and the right questions, and like the right tonality, and actually understanding, I think more importantly, like even beyond the structure, is the principles behind how we communicate.
100%. How did other people in your company react to see this brand new salesperson who they don't know can sell anything? They have no idea, right? You did good in the interview, you got the job. How did they react when you went from like number last place to like number first place in 60 days?
Well, I mean, the first month, I set like the record for the most amount of sales that had ever been done in a first month by a rep.
Okay.
And they were just like,
you went to number uno the first month, not even 2 months.
Yeah, I just kind of went for it. Right.
How did that feel?
I felt incredible. They bonused me for my flight to Costa Rica, which was a goal that I had for like two years to actually get out and do.
Okay.
And it was incredible, honestly.
You got the job. You come in the first month. Because I remember writing out your sales structure with you, because you were in advanced inner circle by that point, and you just went ape crap crazy, and you just outsold everybody in the entire company in the first 30, 40 days. And then you went a freaking trip to Costa Rica. I mean, that must have been shocking to all the other reps there.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking to the whole company, honestly. Like, I don't think they expected that I was actually going to do either of those things. But I did.
Okay, so let's break down your sales process that took you from last to first within 30 days.
Yeah,
okay, you know, you're multiple 6-figure earner now. And the great thing is like I said, you're still learning. You're going to go from 17 to 20 grand a month, probably in the next 6 months. I bet you go up to 25 to 30 grand a month.
Yeah.
And you keep learning and applying what we're teaching you there, you're going to get up to probably 40,000 plus a month, $500,000 a year in sales commissions in that same job, if that's what you want. You're still learning. That's a great thing about NEPQ. It's not like you just learn it once and you're just stuck there. Like, it's ever developing.
I used it on so many different offers already. Like when I had like different, it works everywhere.
100%. That's why we train in hundreds of different industries, including yours now. I think you're probably the first one. So there you go. All right. So let's break down your sales process a little bit here in the next 15 minutes. So connecting questions. So we talk about connecting questions in the virtual training courses, how connecting questions really take the focus off you and puts it on your potential customer. Okay. How did you used to try to connect in the old sales days before you learned NEPQ? What would you say?
Well, I might have listened to like Jordan Belfort, so like enthusiastic as hell, like sharp as a tack, I think, something like that. And so I get on like, oh, I'm super excited to connect with you, like really enthusiastic. When I would hop onto my calls, definitely.
How did people react to that? And be real.
Very few of them reacted very well. I'd say most of them were like, maybe kind of like, I didn't really have the awareness of it then, but they were actually kind of shutting down. Or they're like,
how would they shut down when you're like, I'm so excited to be here today. It's going to be great. I'm really happy that you're here. How would they react to that?
I guess in their mind, they were just hearing like, hey, so excited for my commission today, and I can't wait for you to hand over your credit card. And so because of that, they felt like their guard needed to be up to protect themselves. So that way
So you immediately were triggering sales resistance, unbeknown to you, by the way you were being taught how to sell, right?
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
It's just human behavior 101. What we each have to realize is that within the first 7 to 12 seconds of every single sales interaction you're in, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a cold call, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's in person, at a home or a boardroom meeting, doesn't matter. Whether if it's on a doorstep, it doesn't matter. Your prospects are picking up subconsciously, they don't even know it, your social cues based on your tonality and your body language and what you are saying and or asking that triggers their brain to react in one of two ways. First of all, if you come across excited, needy, and attached, it triggers, and you don't know the right questions to ask, it actually triggers, like you said, their brain to go into what we call fight or flight mode. Just behavioral science 101. And they say, and they try to get rid of you. Oh, well, we're really not that interested. Or, now's not a good time, Mason. Maybe we can reschedule. Or, we already have that. Or, we're good. Or, how much money is it going to be? It just triggers them to try to get rid of you. Now, if you understand the right questions to ask, if you understand how to use human behavior to your advantage, if you come across detached, like you're not attached to the sale, you're actually detached. If you come across unbiased and you come across, if you come across, what's the right word for this? If you come across more natural and collective, just calm, it actually triggers your prospect to become so curious that they feel like they want to engage with you, that they want to open up to you because you might have something that could be very important for them. So give us an example of just one. I mean, there's probably 3 or 4 different connecting questions that we have you use for your sales structure for your industry, but just give us an example of one that you use.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, Jeremy, I was just curious when you went through the webinar with Taylor, like what was it that attracted your attention in the first place?
And why do we teach you how to ask that question?
I mean, first to get the focus off of me and onto them, and then also for them to tell themselves why they're even on the call in the first place, to remind themselves.
It's the first part of giving your prospect to persuade themselves. Now, that's not the first question he asked. You're not just going to get on the Zoom call like, hey, now what was it about? There's a couple of questions before that, but he's giving an example. Okay, let's talk about situation questions. There's probably about 3 or 4 that we have you use for your industry. Situation questions, we're helping them find out what their current situation is. What did you used to say before you learned NEPQ?
I'm not even sure. I think I've kind of banished it from my brain, to be honest.
You're trying to erase the bad memories?
Yeah, I think I would usually start with like, well, what do you think success would be if you were to do a TEDx talk or something like that, as opposed to sort of learning about like them and what's going on in their life and kind of uncovering their background.
You're asking some like cheesy questions that they already know why you're asking them, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Now, what is an example of a situation question we taught you how to ask now? Why did we have you ask it?
Yeah, I guess the first one is always like, just curious, like, what are you doing now to sort of get your message out in the world?
Okay, now for what you do, why do you have to know that?
Well, I need to understand whether or not they're getting their message out in the world, and if they even like how they're getting their message out in the world.
Yeah, you got to find out what their current situation, or we call that the current state is, compared to where they want to be. What do they want their future to be? We call that their objective state. Okay, so situation questions, you're going to ask about 3 or 4 different questions that find out what their current situation is. Not only does it help Mason know and have a more of an understanding, but more importantly, it helps them have a better understanding of what their current situation is. Because most people don't even think about that before you get on the call with them, right?
No, they have no orientation most of the time.
Yeah,
right?
Most of your prospects don't even know what their real problems are before you first start asking them questions that allow them to see what their problems really are, that they didn't know they had sometimes, or the consequences of what will happen if they don't do anything about solving the problem, or what caused the problem in the first place. Okay, let's talk about problem awareness questions, because now I want you to give an example, problem awareness question that we have you ask. Problem awareness questions bring out their emotional state. Okay, it helps them find out what their real problems are. why they have the problems, like the root cause, and then how are the problems affecting them. What's one example? There's several problem awareness questions we have you ask, but give me an example of one.
Yeah, there's a lot of different angles for my offer, but really, I think the simplest one based off that situation, it would be, do you like the way you're getting your message out in the world right now?
And why do we have you ask that? Just point blank, why?
To just kind of cut to the chase around whether or not they're happy with their current situation and satisfied, and if there's even a sale to be made. Right.
Yeah. And you're going to get a different response. You're going to get a third. Some people are like, yeah, I like it. Or they're going to say, well, I mean, we do, but they're kind of in the middle. They're hemming and hawing. Or they're going to be like, no, I don't like it at all. And they're going to tell you what they hate. Okay. Now, depending on what they say is depending on what our next problem awareness question is. If they do say they like it, oh, what do you like? What do you enjoy? See, it's easy. Then we're going to ask a 2 truths question. We don't have time to get into that. If they say they don't like it, what do you ask?
Well, what don't you like about it?
Exactly, right? You're finding out what they don't like because you're helping them relive the pain of what they don't like about their problem.
Yes.
And when they relive and there's a lot more to that than just what Mason revealed, a lot more, I promise you, that pulls out way more emotion than that. That's just like the surface level right there.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah. Now let's talk about solution awareness questions. I'm just going to have you give an example to everybody. You don't have to give away the farm because there's several solution awareness questions we have you ask for what you sell. But solution awareness questions get them to focus on how it's going to be different for them once all these problems that you've helped them see they had, not by telling them, but by asking questions that allowed them to see what their future is going to look like once they're solved. Let's give us an example.
I'll just cut to the one that's been by far the most powerful solution awareness question that is just, this is a game changer. So Jeremy, for you to actually go out there and to get on a TEDx and to really make the impact that you're meant to make, like what would that mean for you to actually be able to do that? Like, what would that mean?
Do you notice how Mason is asking that question? Why do we have you act skeptically and ask that question that way? Why not just say, like, for you to be able to get on a TEDx stage is like, what would that do for you personally? Why do we have you ask it in the tone you're asking it?
Every time I ask that with that tonality and I slow down and I pause, like, what would that actually mean for you? Like, it hits at a much deeper level emotionally, and it's much more meaningful.
Yeah, it's meaningful then because when you slow down, that implies that your question is something very important, which triggers their brain to think deeper about what you're asking.
Oh God, yeah, it works so well.
Yeah, you see the difference because I know in the beginning you're asking the questions too fast.
Yeah,
and they were just giving you like glib answers, like surface level answers, and I'm like, well, you got to slow way down. You got a verbal pause, and you got to really use your body language and tonality, even if they can't see you, because that affects how your tone comes out. And what was the change in how they would respond to that?
I mean, that question has the most consistent response they'll say, that would mean I'm living my purpose and actually making the impact in the world I meant to make. And once I hear someone reflect that back to me, it's like, well, clearly we're going to move forward then, like this is something that's really important for them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So we get them to visualize how, like, basically you're getting them to visualize being on stage at TEDx. Millions of people are watching their video and their message is inspiring and moving the audience and moving the world. And because of that, they're going to make more money in their business. They're going to get their message out. They're going to change the world. You get them to see that, but not by telling them what it's going to be like, because that's just going to go in one ear out the other. But when you ask that, it gets them to visualize them on stage with what you sell. Okay. And then we're going to rip that away when we ask our consequence question.
Yep. That
gets them to defend why they have to have that. So let's talk about consequence questions. What's a consequence question that we have you ask for what you sell?
Yeah. And Jeremy, these are obviously super critical, right? This is where I feel like the sale is made or lost.
Yeah,
I would say, just based off the experience so far. But I guess, Jeremy, hold on. Have you considered what happens if you don't get your message out there? You don't actually find a stage so that you can really start to scale your impact? Like, what happens then?
And what do they say?
Like, they're usually caught off guard, right? but they're like, a lot of times they'll say, well, I won't let that happen. Like that'll be like the deflection. And then you're like, no. But I'm saying what actually happens if you don't do anything about this though, and nothing changes.
Yeah.
Are you willing to settle for that?
And they defend themselves. No, I'm not going to settle.
Well, why not?
Yeah, see, you get them to defend themselves on why they have to change their situation now. But hold on, what if you don't do anything about this though, and you just, you don't ever get on stage and you don't do anything about getting your message out to the world? Like, what happens then? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, I've got to do something about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so time to make a change possibly. See how we do that?
Yeah. I mean, this works so well, guys. Like the other day I had are you willing to settle for that? And literally it was excuse after excuse after excuse. And the tone and the energy of the conversation just next day found the funds. What do you know? They appeared, right? It's like
completely changed. Had you not learned that, would that have been a sale you would have made?
No way.
Not at all. Yeah, 100%.
Zero chance. Because
it drastically affects your income if you don't learn these skills. 100%. How much money do you think you'd be making per month if you had not learned this?
Maybe
$5,000 at the most. Yeah. Now you're making almost 20. That's a big jump in income. $5,000 a month compared to making 20 grand a month is a little bit of an income change, a little bit of a lifestyle change, especially when you're some single dude just traveling around all over the place you want with a beard too. All right. So those are good questions. Now, a lot of people there's some people messaging me here on the phone. You're asking to join the Facebook Sales Revolution group. I'm going to have somebody on my team, Chris or Luke, or maybe Valerie, if you guys can drop the join link for Sales Revolution on the YouTube channel and my personal Facebook group. People are asking to join the Facebook group because we do a lot more of this training inside the Facebook group every single week. So they're going to go ahead and drop the Facebook join link, the group in there to Sales Revolution. Go ahead and click on the join link. It's going to ask you 2 or 3 survey questions about what industry you're in, what you sell, and your price points, so we know what training is going to help you more, okay, depending on your industry. As soon as you fill that out and hit submit, takes you 2 seconds, check your DMs later today, and someone on my team is going to private message you a free training on objection prevention. It's a 35-minute training on how to prevent objections from even happening in your prospect's mind. It's Jedi, okay? So they're going to message that Sales Revolution join group. Go ahead and join that today. Like, join that right now, because after we end this, it'll be off here. Go ahead and join that Facebook group now. We go live in that Facebook group about 3 to 4, sometimes 5 times a week, and we typically give away a little slice of training every single week for free, even for people that are not even our clients, just to help you sell more. All right, Mason. So then we kind of go into your presentation. We're not going to talk about that today because we don't have time. And then after your presentation, because I think you do a 1-call close, right?
Usually, yeah.
Okay, so it's usually
a red flag, yeah.
Yeah, 1 or 2 call close. But then you're gonna ask what are called commitment questions. How did you used to try to close when you sell?
The price is either this in full or this is a payment plan. Which works best for you? Like.
And how would they react to that realistically?
They're like, I'm not sure I even want to do it, or like, neither, like. Well,
yeah, the old option close, right? Triggers sales resistance because you're just assumptive. Now, what's a commitment question that we taught you how to ask there to get your prospect to follow through?
And these are so huge. These are just so incredible. I actually taught a girl I was dating how to use these. And the other day she closed an apartment that she's getting. It's hilarious. So anyways, I mean, Jeremy, just curious. I mean, does this feel like it could be the answer for you?
See how he said that? See his tone out? Do you feel like this process could be the answer for you? See how he paused there? Why do we have you pause there when you say that?
I don't want a knee-jerk response.
Yeah.
I want a thoughtful response.
Yeah.
Because if you get a knee-jerk response, what's going to happen is they're going to give you a false yes if they do say yes. And if it's a no, you're not going to necessarily be able to uncover what's actually going on.
Yeah. 100% time. It gets them to think deeper about the question you're asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mason, well done. I know this was helpful for everybody who's on here. Now, Mason, thank you for being on. Any last words of advice for anybody listening here today?
Just do it. Like, just go for the leap. I mean, if you're committed to actually being the best you can be in sales or building your business, then I'd really invite you to take a look at the cost of not getting the proper training versus the cost or the investment of getting the proper training. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. You have to like, which is more risky? Like you have to, for any industry, which is more risky? Okay. Is it more risky for somebody to get the funding because we have like 20 different training programs. Anybody can get into our training now. It doesn't matter. Is it more risky to get the funding together to be able to learn advanced skills that work with human behavior so you quadruple your income, make a ton more money than you are now? Or is it more risky for you to do nothing at all, keep selling the exact same way you are now, get the same results you are now, and nothing ever changes? Which is more risky? I think we all know the answer at this point. Mason, thanks for being on, man. You're the man. You're just barely starting too, though.
Yeah, we're just getting started. I feel like a newbie.
You're still a newbie. I call a lot of you guys in the advanced inner circle that are making the money you're making. I just call you like grasshoppers. Like you're still little lambs.
I'll take that as a compliment somehow.
every month you're getting better. So keep up the great work. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mason. Hey guys, if you enjoyed these, here's another you can watch right over here. Join our free Sales Revolution group. Click the link below, join us, and we're gonna help you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon.